Erica with 10 Pigs and Crowns, and I am back today with week 2 of the Blessed devotional from Open Journey. This is from the continuation from the Take 4 mini series. Today we are meditating on week 2, which is numbers 6:24 through 26. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift up his countenance toward you and give you peace. This was a very simple entry. I'm actually really happy about how it turned out and how simple it was. If you want to see how this all came together, just stick around and let's get started. I do want to add that I apologize for the quality of the video lighting in this video. Today seems to be a little bit gloomy, and so I decided that I still would want it to record and put this up for y'all. But yeah, so I apologize for the lighting quality of the video today. Okay, friends, I'm going to go ahead and put this video on fast forward now and take fair warning. This is a very short video. I was actually quite surprised. But let's go ahead and get started. This is the large matte white sticker paper that I'm going to be using. This is the image of Jesus blessing, and all I'm doing right here is cutting off the bottom of the sticker because it does have the heading and the title of what issue and what devotional it pertains to. Doing the hinge hack that Lindsay Decor shared with us is, just cut off the tip of some of the sticker, the backing, and then that helps when you apply the sticker onto the page itself. It helps create that hinge so it doesn't move, or so that none of the other sticker actually attaches to the paper, and it creates those wrinkly, kind of off to the side or misaligned placement on the page. And I am going to reach for the new Blessed stamp set that was released for this month, and I'm going to use just that part of the element that says blessed. I'm not going to use the last ED letters for blessed. And I'm going to gold emboss this statement or this word, and I'm going to put it right in the middle of Jesus's hands, as if, like that word bless is coming as a visual, or, kind of giving you the visual of what he is doing. When I use embossing powder, I tend to use anti-static powder, but I completely forgot to do it here. But I also like to place something underneath the entry, or where I'm gonna place the embossing powder on, to kind of allow it to fall on there, so it's easy to collect and put back into the container itself. And isn't it lovely to see? I don't know, I just kind of really like when I'm using the heat gun and I kind of see the embossing powder, kind of solidify. It's the coolest thing ever. Okay, for the cluster on the left-hand top corner of my journaling page, I am using a mix of items. So I'm actually, the greenery that you see here is not from this particular devotional. It's actually from the Heart Cut edition. And then the pink flowers are actually from the clear sticker papers from the Blessed physical kit. And the white flowers are the add-on options that you have for the Blessed release. I am also going to use the header that's on the top of the clear sticker papers that says, "May the Lord bless you and keep you." I'm going to cut it down, or I'm going to place it on a white cardstock, and then I'm going to cut it down to size, because what I want to do is see if I can add some gold embossing, kind of like, to shade or roughen up the edges. I'm sorry, not roughen up, to accent. That was the word I was looking for, the edges. And I am actually using a medium that I haven't used in a while, so it was actually not as fluid as it should have been. It's kind of solidifying now. I've had it for about 3 years, I believe. Is the Tim Holtz Distress Foundry Wax in the color Statue. It's very similar to the gold color of the embossing color that I used. but I will probably need to replace this because it wasn't as fluid as I had wanted it to do. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to run the little banner, or I actually used a couple on a stamping block. I pour some out, some of the foundry wax, and then I'm going to use the banner itself to apply it to the edges. I could have used my finger, that is an option as well, but I just didn't want to get it on my hands. So running the banner along was, a better option for me. And I'm going to use the, I believe it's called the Faith Floral Stamp Set. I want to use some of the floral elements to stamp more gold accent onto my page, because I want to capture some of that part of the scripture where it says, "May the Lord cause his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you." And the only way I can interpret that shine, the word shine, would be with gold accents onto my page. So you're going to see me use some of the elements of the floral stamp set, and to kind of, bring attention to that part of the scripture. I am using the anti-static powder on this one. I remembered to take it out, just in case I was going to use it down the road, and I ended up using it because, like I said, I wanted to add more gold accents. I do arrange the cluster to how I think I want it. So that way it kind of gives me an idea of where to apply some of these gold accent stamps onto my page. Okay, and for the floral accents, how I create this technique is, after I place the stamp onto the stamping block, I kind of hover over the stamping block where I think I want that stamp or that element to kind of peek out from underneath the cluster. Once I get a pretty good idea, I kind of carefully remove the cluster or the elements off the page, and by trying not to move my hand too much from the place I originally want it, I stamp on there. If it's embossing powder, I do try to use the heat gun immediately after that, because I want to make sure that it doesn't get all over the place as well. But I also rearrange the clusters, especially if I'm doing more than one accent, just to make sure that it kind of fell right in the right place, but also to help me determine where the other elements or where the other stamps should be, where the placement should go. So here you'll see me do the same technique, and I want this on the top left, or I'm sorry, top right corner of the cluster. And I do the same thing. I kind of hover it over, and then I move the elements, and then I stamp. I add the embossing powder, and then I use the heat gun. For this particular stamp impression that I make, the anti-static powder didn't exactly work very well. I either didn't place enough or I accidentally removed it. So when that happens, there's extra embossing powder that tends to cling to your page. Before you use the heat gun, what you want to do is use a fine tip brush to kind of brush away any of the excess powder. And that's what you kind of saw me do. Once the heat embossing solidifies and it cools down, because when it's still warm, you can kind of still smudge it. So I wait till it's kind of cooled off. I go ahead and rearrange the clusters to how I'm going to go ahead and commit to gluing them down onto the page. Here I kind of accidentally placed the smaller one and then swapped it out for the large one. I placed the banner and the word or the title header from the add-on options onto the cluster as well. I know I want to use that word blessed. So I wanted to stand out from the cluster because there was a lot of white and so not enough contrast. So I wanted the word blessed and the banner to kind of stand out, even though the banner had, some gold accent to it. I still wanted to stand up off the page. So I'm going to use that foam sticker to make sure that it's elevated. And again, you have seen me do this before, and I will continue to do this, is I actually place a dab of glue onto the sticker itself before applying it to the element. Because I've said it once. If I said it once, I've said it 100 times. I don't trust the adhesive that comes on there or that is on there. I feel like it's gonna, wear out and fade away or kind of, deteriorate with time. So I wanted to have an extra security to make sure that, you know, it's on there. So I do it to both the word blessed and to the banner. And then I'm going to go ahead and start gluing some of the elements down. But before I do that, I wanted to create a little bit of space in between the two white flowers, to give room for the banner and the word bless. Because when I was trying to put them together initially, it just felt kind of like too, what's the word that I'm looking for? Crowded. Oh, goodness gracious. The word, it just wouldn't come to mind. So it was a little bit too crowded. So I kind of, you know, created a little bit of space, because I also knew that by gluing the title bless and the banner, it would kind of cover up that little gap in between. So next, in the order of layering or positioning, in the cluster is the clear stickers, which are the pink flowers. So I do the same technique, remove some of the backing, cut a little bit off to create a little hinge effect, which doesn't exactly work out in this case, because I did the hinge on the wrong side. But that's fine. It still all worked out great. And so now I am positioning everything back into the cluster, and then slowly begin to, I guess, adhere the clear stickers or the pink flowers onto the page. And this is where I realized that I may have, you know, cut the wrong end off to create the hinge. I do a quick arrangement of the clusters, especially the white flower, more specifically the white flowers, to make sure that I kind of visually have an idea of how much or how big the gap should be to allow room for the word bless and for the banner. Um, so when I go to glue down the white flowers or the die cuts, I try to do the little hinge effect and it did not work. So you see me here just go, you know what, I'm gonna remove the white flowers, and then I decided that since I removed the white flowers, that I might as well just glue everything down so it doesn't, you know, lift up. Because my plan was that if I could just apply the glue to the white die cut, then everything else will be glued down. But since I moved them, I'm going to go ahead and just glue every piece of element down. Now I rearrange the white flowers again, and just to make sure that, you know, I have the gap distance, you know, more accurately. And then I glue down the titled or the word blessed. I do remove each and little backing from the little, I guess, sticker foam, because it does have that, you know, that glossy little cover, the backing. And then I go ahead and also do the same for the banner. I am sure there's probably an easier way to do this. It's probably easier just to remove the backing to begin with, so I don't have to do it individually. But this kind of works for me now. I might eventually try that hack and see if it works out better for me. Since I'm not going to use it, letting it air dry or dry out, that's probably not going to be a big deal since I, you know, add my own glue to it. Once I adhere the title, I kind of make sure to tuck in the banner a little bit under the word blessed, you know, just to make sure that it kind of flows better. And then since I'm not going to be doing a lot with the background and I do want it to have a lot of white space, I'm going to use the foundry wax again, because like I said, I've had it for so long, I know it's going to go bad really, really fast. And I do need to replace it. So I decided to use up as much as I can since I was going to be using it right now. I use a little bit onto the same acrylic block, and then I'm going to do splatters with that. I do more controlled splatters when I tap it with something, or when I tap the brush with something. But when I want more random and bigger splatters, I kind of do like a hard, you know, shaking of the brush onto the page. When I use and then I use the heat gun to make sure that, you know, it's dried up and it gives you that bright glow to it. I did decide against using water to dilute the foundry wax because I wasn't sure if it was going to affect the final result. But now I'm getting ready to journal the scripture with my favorite technique, which is the acrylic ink in the bottle. I started writing too big, so by the third sentence, I kind of started to write smaller, as you can tell. So I was only able to do part of the scripture because of that. But this is the final result of my entry. This is actually one of the entries that I've enjoyed working through the most. I'm not really sure if it was the simplicity of it, but I really liked the gold accents and how it speaks to the word shine, and the simplicity, kind of like being a bit visual of the word bless. But this is the final look. I'm really thankful that you stopped by to accompany me on my journaling entry today, and I hope to see you next time. Love you. Bye.